Good evening, everyone, and to anyone watching on YouTube. Welcome to this evening's Finance and General Purposes Committee, Thursday, 17th of March, and I'll start this meeting at 7 o'clock. The first item on the agenda is public question time. I can't see any. That was a no. Moving on to item 2, apologies for absence. Apologies from Councillor Mrs. Belsey, Deputy Town Mayor, Councillor Peacock, and Councillor Visser.
Are you accepting the apologies?
Yeah, can I be accepted? Sorry.
You can't accept Councillor Visser's unless you've got a reason for his not being here. Have we got a reason?
No.
Right. You can note his, but you can accept the other two, which is fine.
Councillor Visser's absence is noted. Can we agree on the other two?
Agree.
Thank you. Right, item 3 on the agenda, to receive the minutes of the meeting held on 16th December 21 and the 13th of January 22. I'd like to propose those minutes. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that, Joe.
Any questions on the minutes? We have a show of hands. Agreement. Agreed. Item 4.
Chairman.
Oh,
Show the bottom of that page, please. Keep going until it gets to the final page.
they just stick together, don't they?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, just sign that one.
I'll just sign that one, please. And I don't think there's any appendices. Oh, you sign that one as well. I think that's it. That is. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Item 4. Item 5 on the agenda is,
Full declarations.
oh, sorry. Item 4 on the agenda, she said, receive any declarations of interest. Do I have any?
No.
I have none. Move on to item 5 on the agenda, Chairman's announcements. I've got a couple here. Following the December meeting, the non-issue of hard copy agenda has worked well with the text reminders. So far, everyone has turned up for a meeting anyway. The Economic Working Group revised plan has been submitted. Miss Sussex have acknowledged it and are working through it. We don't have a timescale for the response, but the clerk did chase last week and was advised that they would come back as soon as they could. Following some discussion amongst councillors, I asked the clerk to approach the Police and Crime Commissioner to ask whether the old police station can be used for part of the refugee relief effort for Ukrainian refugees, once Ukrainian refugees start to arrive in the UK. Mid Sussex, who will coordinate the temporary housing programme, have also been contacted to make them aware of the idea and to offer East Grinstead Town Council services if needed in order to assist this process. We are still awaiting announcements from the government, but at least gives some ideas as to how we can locally be of help to the crisis. Any questions on that?
Did you want to give the update from what the PCC said?
Have I got that?
Yeah, you do.
It's not on my, oh,
Yeah, please.
where is it? Sorry. Oh yes, beg your pardon, sorry. So much paperwork here. The response from the Police and Crime Commissioner's office is that this building is unlikely to be suitable for temporary accommodation, but the clerk's alternative suggestion of a triage emergency reception centre could be possible. We await further discussion in the next week or so to see if we can agree how this could be used. Also, whether the council can start to collect names of persons willing to offer rooms in their home or other spare accommodation. It is known that community groups are willing to help with setting in and support groups, and the council will also see what we can do to help with this and provide basics such as English language courses and support signposting when they arrive. Any comments?
Was that from the BCC or her spokesman?
It's the office.
It's the
That
office.
sounded a no to me, or was I just hearing that wrongly?
It sounded as a no to me for temporary accommodation, but it didn't sound as a no for me for other uses for it. So it could be, and we'll just keep pushing. I don't know what the condition of the building is, but it could be a depot receptacle for donations. It could be a processing for people who've arrived here before we then are able to help find housing. It could be a lot of uses. It's a great idea, and it's just about what it can be used for. If it can be used for temporary, well, we're not going to lose that conversation. It's just haven't as yet had a conversation with the PCC herself. It was just came back from her office, and they promised that they would speak with her. And I've also, as the leaders just said, been in email conversation with the leader of Mid Sussex District Council to say how can we help, and also for him to be aware that we'd made that offer or request or whatever it is.
I'd like to thank you, leader, and the clerk for jumping on this so quickly. It only came about last week, obviously, as an idea. Thank you for circulating to other councillors, and thank you for jumping on it, and hopefully something can come from it.
Thank you, councillors. Yeah, I mean, I like to think this council works as a team. I think it was another councillor's idea, so it was a very good idea. So I was asked to take that forward, which we did. And I think we got a response from the Police and Crime Commissioner's office. I just think we have to wait and see whether there's any development, whether we can push it if it's an adverse thing. Councillor Matthews.
I'd like to echo those comments, and I think it's a jolly good idea. I just want to refer back to something you said just now, Chairman, and you said the people are turning up. I'm not sure what that was, because I wasn't really listening, but it reminded me that we'd agreed that a text would be sent out before every meeting to remind us. Is that being done?
Yes.
It absolutely is, but my apologies, I didn't do it today. I do apologise, you're quite right. Kirsty's on leave this week and next week. It fell to me and I failed. I am sorry. I am sorry.
Sure.
You didn't, well, unless Harry sent it out.
I've got one.
I don't think, I didn't do it, and I should have done. I do apologise.
I'm not going to check now.
I need a text message to remind me. Yes, you're quite right. I should have put a note in my diary. Yesterday, I knew I had to do it, and today I forgot. I apologise. I will do better.
Oh, sorry, paperwork everywhere. Item 6 on the agenda is to receive the list of approved payments for December 21 and January and February 22. This is for noting. Do I have any questions on that?
Thank you, Chair. I know obviously Mr. Chambers is with us this evening. Hope it's all right.
Yeah.
My usual, just a couple of questions based on the schedule of payments. Appendix A, Sutcliffe Play 21,000. What specifically was that for? Presumably in the playground just under the road in December.
I'm going to have to come back to you, I think.
obviously a large piece of equipment.
It's a piece of equipment. I think it's the slide, but I could be wrong. I will confirm. I will confirm.
Okay, thank you. Similarly, in December, not just under £9,000 payment to Temple Group for badger set removal. Do we know how many badgers were escorted from the premises?
No,
No, it's a serious question.
yeah, no, they weren't. This is the next stage of the starting to do the prep work for the next part of the removal, because we're not actually doing anything in December. So that was just the invoice. So this is the next. We're starting to do the next part of it. We haven't removed any badgers. What we've done is we have prevented them from re-entering. So there's been we're not allowed to interfere with the badgers. So there's been no, it's a one-way gate. So they leave and they can't get back in. So although we have a rough idea how many the entire set have been, what we don't know is exactly how many have gone through those doors. It's all based on watching and the estimates that come from that. Off the top of my head, I can't think what they are. I can get that reconfirmed to committee. It's, yeah, at no time are we actually interacting directly with the badgers. So I can't tell you how many have been moved.
So it's fence would be like a one-way.
That's right. That's right.
From the site.
Yeah.
And they can't get back in.
That's right.
Right. Do they wait the other side? I don't know.
No, what they do is they forage us. They forage elsewhere. So what they do is they will move to Councillor Matthews' garden. The idea is that we know that there's another set, or actually I don't know, Chairman, if you want to take this, or are you happy that I do?
So yes, they were moved out to point one, and they pushed down to the lower part of the cemetery, and so once they go out, the gate says they can't get back, so they clear that area. There is no more disturbance there.
Right.
So with the some has been made that they've all gone and can't re-enter. The number that were in the set was considered to be considerable at the time, but we don't actually have any numbers on that. Or we didn't have any numbers on that because of how. But then, what the next stage is to then move them on from that elsewhere. And that will be the next stage is setting out and moving them out. But you must have to interfere with the badgers themselves.
Okay, thank you.
It's just a case of
Right.
not allowing the access.
I just wondered if at some stage we could have some sort of viewing of the site, if possible. So we have been physically, I can't quite
You
physically.
do need to see it.
We're spending a lot of money on this, so
Yeah.
you know, I appreciate that. It's all
Yeah.
improved. I'm not arguing about that, but it's just.
It would be good to see, because you can actually see.
Because I'm going to
the-
ask some questions now. You know,
Yeah.
Chairman's been to the site a couple of times.
Yes.
Not sure whether or not your vice chair has been there along with you, but there's no reason why councillors can't go. We do.
Have a look.
We do need to do it by arrangement and appointment. We have to remember that there are residents in the in the cemetery, at the belfry, and they are the ones who own the drive. We don't. So it's a crazy situation, but it's the situation we're in. So whereas we can take people in, if I take a large number of people in there, I do have to get their permission. It's their drive.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
crazy, but you're very welcome to
Maybe I'll just do one
go
more. All right, thank you. Third one, final one. Payment for £3,000 to a company called Wallgate for annual hand dryer service plans.
toilets.
Yeah. What, just for the hand dryers?
It's, well, Wargate are the company who do the maintenance on our toilets. So this will be the public toilets. It would be, it could, I don't know which ones they exactly are, whether it's the public toilets down at King Street, whether it includes the ones here at East Court, and the ones in the outside car park, or whether it's just one of those particular. My guess is if they're doing a service, we get them to come and do all of them at the same time, but I don't 100% know. I would have to get that one checked.
A couple of points on that is 3,000 years, sounds a lot of money for not many hand dryers. And when we did the refurb of the toilets here, we did away with the hand dryers because they're part of the tap.
That's right. It will be the whole
So-
thing. Wallgate won't just be doing the hand dryers, that will be the whole thing. But-
Sounds quite
But happy to double check that. At the end of the day, Wallgate are the only company that we can use. And if we don't have things serviced and they'll break down, then obviously have to be repaired. So if that is the cost for the service, so that is the cost for the service. But I can ask for the breakdown of exactly what that cost, because I don't know.
If you just, it is
Yeah.
annual and not every 3 years or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, any more questions? So we can take that as noted. Noted, thank you. Move on to item 7 on the agenda, which is the Town Council Finances Position Statement. And this is to note the position statement. Do I have any questions on that?
So look, the total balances in the year have increased by 100,000, which is good news.
Mhm.
That's good, more money in bank. The year-to-date variance has gone up to a saving of £120,000. Now, committee will be aware that I consistently ask Mr. Chambers when he is here of the predicted year-end balance, and he had in September last year, and then again in December confirmed that it would be £80,000. Does this now suggest, Town Clerk, that it will be going up to circa 120,000?
No, I asked that same question, Mr. Chambers, prior to the meeting, and he doesn't want to pin an exact figure on, because obviously things do move, but he is suggesting somewhere between 60 to 80,000 will be the surplus this year. Since the figures went through, we have the overall loss of general reserves expected to be 60 to 80,000 is what he's saying, but the actual amount still not known, and this may change. And I did ask him what we've just received the street lighting bill, which is 13,500. We've just paid the arrears of the staff pay back for the salary pay increase, cost of living, and that was 10,000. So that's £23,500 just with 2 extra things that have come through in the last few weeks. So my understanding is from Mr. Chambers is that there will be some big payments out this month, which will be his overall expectation is that the general reserves will reduce between 60 and 80,000.
So it will be a saving on revenue.
Yeah.
Going to.
There will be savings.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be savings.
No more questions. So can we note that? Move on to item 8, performance indicators. To receive the report on the current KPIs for invoices and absence, and this is just for noting. Do you have any questions on performance indicators? No, can we?
Just one, Jim. The total staff sickness, January and February, 10 days on both months, and it's gone back to 3. So are the staff all back and happy and healthy now?
I've got 2
Or
staff.
is there a long-term
I've got
one?
2 staff. No, there's nobody's on long term. No one's on long term. This is effectively COVID.
Go.
It is effectively COVID, where although we may have staff off of, poor old Alice is still off. She's still testing positive, but we're in such an unknown with this at the moment as to whether or not staff have got to stay away or not. They only get sick if they're physically not well. So, but most of them are saying they're getting the cough and the upset stomach, so they're not in a great position to come in. So for most of them, it's probably only 2 or 3 days at a time. But yeah, there's also been member staff had problem with his knee. I think somebody else had a problem with their back for a couple of days, but that is spread over 3 or 4 staff members, and it's just a couple of days here and there for most of them.
Yeah, I asked because I'm concerned for them, but they're all right.
Yes. Only Alice is off at the moment, and they say that is because she is still showing. She was day 10 today, and she's still a very strong positive line. She's getting quite sick of it.
Because when I had it, they said after 10 days, you're not contagious and go.
She will be back in the office, back in the library on Monday. We've agreed that, subject to her being well enough to, if she leaves, because she's still coughing.
Yeah.
I said she's like, and she has worked from home. She has worked from home.
Yeah, it's more the fact that I don't want to sort of just sit off not knowing.
it's yeah, total unknown, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's noted.
Noted.
Item 9 on the agenda, recommendations from committee, there are none. Item 10 is delegated decisions, and there's just one in the papers. That's the Ukrainian flag being flown in the town for the time being, in solidarity with Ukraine following the infringement of their borders by Russia. And this is just to note. Right. We come on to agenda item 11, and that is the civic regalia and reference to the town shields. And this is to consider whether to continue the practice of presenting an ornamental heraldic shield following a year in the mayor's office. The costs are there. Before the order is resubmitted, the clerk seeks assurance that this council wishes to continue with the practice after this year. And, we need a decision on that. And as you can see, I think the one we're going to present to the current town mayor is the last one, town clerk.
It's the last one of the current batch that we have. So if we wish to continue, we need to reorder.
Yeah, and we can't just order one at a time. It's got to be quite a few. And you can see that the cost there, £60 per item. Now, this is a decision for the committee. I have my personal views on that, although it's very nice. Personally, I think it's a bit tacky. It's just a heart-shaped shield with a crest on it, and I'll say it's hardly worth 60 quid. I mean, people may disagree with me, and please do, but I was very pleased to get mine, but where is it? I've no idea. So, Councillor Matthews.
Every time I look at my shield, I shall hear your voice saying that looks pretty tacky.
I should have chosen when I phrase the words.
And I'm a little bit surprised when I read this. I mean, the old saying, the cost of everything but the value of nothing. I think when you become mayor, you give up almost a year of your life because everything revolves around that. And the only thing you've got to show for it is a tacky shield. and I think it should be marked in some way. Otherwise you've got nothing to show for it. You've got a little medal, but I think it deserves more. Either that, if it's too tacky, I think we should have a scroll or something framed, which will cost just as much money, if not more. But I'm still for retaining it.
Okay. Any more questions on the tacky shield? Councillor Farrell.
I did just to myself that the fact it was considered a little attached old-fashioned, and I sort of think I'm in agreement with that. I think I do understand exactly what Councillor Matthews said. It, you know, you see it and it's something that you've had, but I think it's something that was done for a really long time, and I know that every town mayor is grateful to receive something for the amount of work that they do. Literally a year of their life, but I understand that. But I think that it's time to change things. They've naturally come to an end. I think it's something that we could do. You know, if I was at a town mayor, I wouldn't like to receive one of those and have it on my wall. It was something, but you know, I would like a pin badge that says "Well done, you've had a good year." And look at it. I think the memories that you make can be part of that recognition. And I do feel that maybe times have changed, and the plaque isn't necessarily the best way forward.
I think, I mean, we do, the mayors do get the cost, the jewel,
Yeah.
town mayor's jewel, which is 50 quid.
And that's something that they would pass on to somebody else. That was something
Yeah,
my
it's
mother,
more,
my
it's more
grandmother, my
meaningful.
whatever has done this role, and that I would wish to retain 100%.
Yeah.
But the plaque, no.
Was there any other committee members, Town Mayor.
Thank you. Right, so I'm at the town because I'm the town mayor, is that right?
Sorry?
No, that's right. I just wanted to find out.
There is one for you, yes.
Thank you. I suppose at this stage I should declare an interest because I'm the town mayor, and I am delighted to see that there is one left because I know that I should be delighted to have it, and I think a little bit more consideration needs to be given to this because it's not so much what you do through the year, but it's a terrific memento, as Councillor Matthews said. And it kind of it isn't much of a cost, but it kind of says you were there, and I think that for myself, I'm delighted there'll be one, and I would not like to be involved in the decision to deprive others of it.
Councillor Whitaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Councillor Matthews, Councillor Bell. When I saw this come up as a agenda item, I was appalled. I am appalled.
I wrote that down.
The pettiness of this town council to put an item like this on the agenda for the sake of money is frankly ridiculous. So I'm 100% against it. I'm very proud of my shield and my nose, and I displayed on my windowsill in my study. And I think it's a tradition that the town council should continue with very strongly.
It's not a question of being mean, it's just that it came up because we had to order, I don't know how many, 10 at a time.
Well, you can order as many as you like, but the minimum is 10.
And the minimum's 10. So it's a good opportunity to, well, you know, we do have to, as a town council, you know, being prudent with our finances, is to look at things when they come up. You know, do they need to change? And that's the whole point of bringing it to these meetings to agree on such things. Yes, then I'll go to Councillor Matthews.
I understand your frustration. I don't see this as a monetary thing. I don't see this as a monetary thing at all. And I do think it should be recognised. I just think this is the opportunity now to maybe change it to something else. I don't think it's necessarily needs to be that particular shield.
I'll have to let committee members speak first. Councillor Matthews.
Yeah, I mean, when we become mayor, I think, or if you do, I think if you don't want the shield, you notify the town clerk. So don't give me a shield. Don't inscribe anything. Leave it to the next one if they want it. But you know, I wrote down I'm appalled, same as Councillor. And I also wrote down it's mean-minded, and that smacks of no appreciation of the office of the office. So I think if you want to offer it, you can have it or not. It's up to you, but I think the option should be there.
That's the whole point of democracy. Like I said before, it's something that come up, but you have to discuss, and everyone's got their different views. Councillor Amos, I'm going to ask you to be brief, because I can see where this is going.
On your own grounds of this council should be here for the greater good, making the greater good of the community, I don't think the shield could be warranted. The cost to each resident is about 5p, and I can say with absolute confidence, each resident is not getting 5p's worth of benefit. It is a net loss to the community. Now, there is an incentive argument to this, that perhaps providing shield will make for a better mayor. I think that's incredibly dubious. So I would conclude by saying we should not buy these things. We should be prudent, or as some councils might like to call it, mean with the taxpayers' money. And I would say if the mayor wants one of these, then they should buy it themselves. And then, yeah, there you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I see no questions, so we go to the vote on this. So the thing is, do we continue to carry on with the town mayor's shield? All those in favour?
Chairman, you actually made a proposal, so could you have a second before you vote, please?
Oh, sorry, it's been a bad day. I've had meetings all day.
Could I put a proposal first?
Sorry.
We haven't had a proposal yet, so,
Okay,
well,
so could I propose, we have one left, for the next year, which gives us a year to consider this. No,
We
I'm not, I
don't need a
don't,
year. We don't need a year to.
no, I'm
consider
just saying
this.
there is no rush to make a decision, so why make a decision tonight? Why can't we have this look to see if there's something more modern?
That's good. Why don't you just split the vote and then it'll be 3-3?
All I'm suggesting is that we use a bit of time to see if there's something that is a bit more modern, that still has all the sentiment with it, but gives us an opportunity to update somewhat. That's all I'll.
That's a proposal. It needs to be seconded. If you seconded,
proposal.
would you like to vote on that, on that
Not heard.
proposal?
So we're going to vote on that proposal.
I'll vote because that was my vote.
3, 4. And those against? 3 against. Chair, you have the casting vote.
Oh, well, I'll go with my decision.
Okay. So
And
to
we got the
continue,
amendment.
to continue as we are.
Then go back to check. It's just an opportunity, it's a chance to check, look at something.
So
Rather than be tied into it for the next.
there's your
10 years.
proposal, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the proposal is
And
to
I'm not taking. I
continue
don't
for a
think
year
it's
and to bring it back
I'll
to
see
consider
them
other
vote.
options. Okay.
still-
I mean, if we're trying to save money, that means it says something else. That's going to cost money as well.
It wasn't a cost, it
Spend
wasn't
money.
money, it was just whether it's a chance to update it to something more modern.
Okay, that's the end of that.
I look forward to the propositions, so there's something more modern from you.
Any more on my
Oh.
plate? Mr. Mayor?
Right, okay. Item 12 on the agenda is the personal working group. And this is to consider the report and recommendations from the working group that met on the 28th of February. The clerk will leave during the item concerning her salary. And what is in that is the COVID protocols. And that is for noting. We need a decision on the home working policy.
Can I suggest you take one at a time, Chair?
Yes, of course. Okay, so we go to the COVID protocols. Can we note those? Noted, thank you. And a decision is required on the home working policy. I'll take it members have read that. Is there any questions on that, Councillor Matthews?
Yeah, I did read it, and I had to reread on E, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth paragraph down. It says, if annual leave is booked on your allocated office space, employers are encouraged to work in the office on alternative days of the week. I read it a couple of times and then I sort of worked out what it meant. But I suppose if it had read, if other employees are on annual leave or something like that, because it refers to when other employees, not you.
No, it does. It actually it refers to the person who would normally be working from home. The reason it's in there, we had a long conversation about this particular part, is it's not unusual for a staff member to book a Friday off or a Monday off and have a long weekend. And if that would be their normal day in the office and they continually book Fridays and Mondays rather than having 2 weeks off at a time or something like that, and so they actually what they're doing is they're booking days off when they would otherwise be, sorry, I've done this the wrong way around. If Friday is their day in the office and that is the day they keep booking off, then actually what it's doing is leaving the service short.
Yeah,
Fridays
yeah.
are a very good example of that, because we've only got 4 people in on a Friday. So if somebody kept taking the same day off, then it would be helpful at the very least if they were in another day during the week, so they were still in the office.
Yeah. I mean, that seems a bit odd anyway, that if their day is in the office on a Friday and they keep taking the day off as, surely that shouldn't be allowed anyway.
That's why it's in there.
Yeah, and this will negate that, will it? Yeah, okay. It just didn't read. I wasn't comfortable reading.
It's a strange one, and it's one we keep with. We
You
have a
know
long
me,
conversation
it
about
jumped
this.
off the page.
Sure.
Chair, I apologise to the town clerk because I believe that she asked me to be part of that working group. I misread the time. I'm so
It's all
sorry.
right, don't worry.
I misread the
You
date.
can come
actually.
next time, it's okay.
Okay, so I see no more questions on that. So the recommendation is that, so one, and I'll take these on block. The working group recommend that hybrid working of home office be approved, the appropriate staff who request it. And two, the policy to be approved. I'm going to propose that. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second that, please.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All those in agreement? That's unanimous, Town Clerk. Thank you. Next, we need a decision on the staff survey. And you have that circulated in front of you. Have I missed something here?
Oh, the staff cost of living rise. Sorry, that's just for noting.
Yeah, sorry, the staff. That's not on my brief.
Sorry.
The staff cost of living rise, that is just for noting. Is that noted?
Noted.
Thank you. The staff survey, again, we need a decision on that one. And you have that in front of you. Is there any questions on the staff survey?
Are we still on 12?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the third paragraph on page 5.
Oh.
It's just one that's been offered by Peninsula, who are our HR provider. And it seemed like a good idea. So we took it to the committee, the working group rather, and the working group said that they were happy that this went out. So just for noting.
Yeah. Noted.
We've got a proposal.
Sorry, this is yes, so also as long as you're happy that it goes out, I think it could just
Be noted.
be noted.
So that's noted then. Thank you. Appraisals, staff appraisals taking into account the priorities and objectives of this year's annual plan are being undertaken in March and May. And that is just a noting. Is that noted?
Noted.
I'll leave the room.
That's off, is it?
It's not off at the moment, no. If you're just going to talk in bands and spinal points, there is no need for that to go off. If, however, you wish to talk specifics with regards to salary amounts, then you will need to just turn it off. All you need to do is just pause the recording.
Right, you've got figures down here.
Well, that's for your information, Chair, as part of the brief.
Right, and that's okay.
No.
If you want
If
to,
you're going to talk in detail about the figures, you will need to stop the recording. But if you don't, then you don't need to do so.
Right, okay.
You're responsible to press. Go and have a look. This one. Oh, it's not recording.
Okay, right. Reference to the clerk's salary, you can see that in front of you. The clerk's appraisal has had an objective to review her salary for the past 2 years. Clerk was uncomfortable with bringing this forward during the pandemic, and therefore this has been deferred to now. Do you want me to read the rest of it out for you, or you're quite happy of read that? Do I have any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Chair, can I ask, have you been doing the town clerk's yearly appraisal?
Yes, I have.
The last 2 years.
Mhm.
Okay, can I ask what other objectives she has on her appraisal for this year, in addition to the salary? What appraisal?
Well, I haven't got that actually with me at the moment, but yes, I obviously give the town clerk her appraisal. There's things that we all know about that are happening during the year, some projects like the ongoing thing with the badges at the cemetery, St Margaret's Loop.
What I'm trying to drive at, sorry, I'm not being funny, but I mean, she's mentioned specifically she had an objective, so I'd like to know any other objectives. Do the chairman of the other committees, are they privy to what those objectives are, or other councillors? If they've been circulated to me, I haven't seen them.
No, they haven't been circulated.
Okay. I think that's kind of relevant. But the main point I'd like to make on this is that obviously reference has been made to the job specification and in the papers here since 2011 when she was appointed. I would say though that for the last 6 years, when she was appointed, we had a charities committee and she was responsible for the administration of Checkermead Theatre. Now, that changed in March 2016 when the Checkermead became a charitable incorporated organisation. And the town clerk now has no involvement whatsoever with Checkermead. Now that is a significant reduction in the workload for the last 6 years, probably up to in the region of 10 to 20% of her work time. There was a huge amount of work that she was involved with, particularly when things were, there were some issues on personnel issues and stuff like that, and the charities committee, as you well know, Chairman. So yeah, I think this whole situation needs to be taken into account in terms of what she did when she was appointed in 2011, what she does now, and it's fact that she does less, obviously, on Checkermead. However, she's tied to scales, and I'm fully appreciative of that, and I'm fully in agreement with adjustment of scales in accordance with whatever the scales adjustment is. I haven't got any issues with that, but I do want to raise the point that Checkermead can be relevant.
Okay, it may be relevant, but you know, with Checkermead, you know, some that was delegated, especially on the finances, to some of the office staff. When that ceased, it freed up some of the staff to do, you know, other things that were become on their time. Okay, she may not be doing the Checkermead, but she certainly does quite a lot of things. I mean, as you know, when you was leader, you go into the office 2 or 3 times a week, and there's always something that needs sorting out.
Yeah, I'm not critical of what she does or how she does it. She's an excellent town clerk, and you know, like a person, I like a professional. No issues with that. Just want to make that clear. But the fact of the matter is, the workload from 2011 to 2022 is different.
It may be different, but I can assure you her workload is quite considerable in a lot of other issues at the moment.
Obviously, I'm much newer to the whole situation, and I think slightly, you know, you're saying about the timing of the 2016 with the Checkermead, then obviously got to a community governance qualification, and that automatically then branch up. So I think maybe that balances that out slightly. Yeah. So I think that I understand that's what you're saying. The workload that legit good leadership is delegation, isn't it? Positive because the team that she's got around her. My point and my question really is on the NJC scale. Obviously, if they're saying that her qualification is supported at a different pay grade, and she's got a new job description towards that pay grade, and the NJC scale, does it actually go up to 59 to 62? Because I couldn't get anything past 43 when I was looking the other night on NJC, because obviously I work with NJC myself. So that was my question. Does NJC actually just go up that far? And if we did it, obviously, you're taking her into different brackets when you're looking at banding, because unfortunately, whatever you do in the public sector, you get capped. Once you reach the top of your scale, you are capped. So is there a new job description to go with the banding, or is the banding moved to the town council to be able to allow us to put her into the next banding to allow progression?
Who's in the room to be able to answer better than I can. But yes, it's
And then
it's
I've
all
also
there.
got
It's-
questions, then I've got opinions on the financial consequences of the options afterwards, but so my point is it says here, to allow further progression to the top of LC4 range. So we must be changing the banding slightly of her job description to put her into that bracket, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the clerk will reach that level on April 26th, and from that time she will be eligible for cost of living rise. So
Yes, but what we're saying is if she goes up to 59 and then progression up to 62, and then when she hits 62, which, as I say, couldn't find a value for that. Once we reach point 60, then yes, it is just cost of living rise. But what I'm saying is to put her into the bracket from 59 to 62, because obviously she's at the top of her bracket now. So we must be changing something to put her into the next bracket. That's how the green book works.
yes, it has. I think that
So,
LC
so
range.
is there a new job description to go with that?
It's just how the bandings, due to her qualifications, but as I understand it. Tell me.
So, Jim, I think Councillor Sparrow makes a very good point, actually. I was going to ask a similar question.
I don't object to it, I just wanted to make sure we're doing it right, because it is.
I think, yeah, that's right. I think what we're saying is, you've been doing the town clerk's appraisals, and obviously that then cascades down. Same as I used to do in business for my company, etc. How do you? What I was interested in, I'm glad that Councillor Whittaker's asked the question. How do you set the appraisal objectives for a town clerk? I mean, it's not just about money. It's about the standards that you expect in certain areas, sort of the achievements necessary for the council itself, and how it goes about its business and everything else. I'd be very, very interested, I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, find out how you set those. Do you confer with other leaders from other towns and how they go about?
No, there's nothing to do with other towns. This is what the town clerk actually does to this town, and you know what she does.
Okay, I'm just so reading and going through it. So the FLCC has set out the job evaluation, which puts for the classified size of our council that she should be on the pay range
LC4.
on LC4, which is what our town council is. So she's obviously working already on that job evaluation on that scale, which is what her descriptors are set against, her job description set against. So therefore, if they start off with final point 57 from this year, it allows, because of that banding of LC4, for us to progress annually up to 2024, up to 2026, and then that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
Unless we move into a bigger council and she changes from LC4 to LC5, and then we start all over again. Is that
Yes.
additive?
Yeah. You can see that
Okay, that's fine.
appropriate spinal point should be 59.
I don't know what.
Obviously, it's better. You know more about it with the schools, but
Yeah,
it's totally different to this. So,
No, it's capped.
Councillor Matthews.
Oh, it's double beds for them, but,
I understand that.
are we off the air or not?
No,
No.
currently we're still
We're
recording.
still recording.
If we can agree to exclude the public and the press, but we have to make a statement to do that. So if we want to talk specific to monetary values to the town clerk, then we need to agree to exclude the public and press and continue privately.
Yeah.
But to do that, we have to read the statement.
Yeah, well, I think we should have a private chat.
Okay, so we need to agree to exclude the public and the press from the next item due to inclusion of confidential, commercially sensitive information prejudicial to the public interest. So we need to have a vote on that. If we're all good to vote on that, then I can press pause. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you and welcome back after a brief discussion. So the recommendation is that the town clerk be regraded from the 1st of April 22 to spinal point 57. but allowing progression to spinal point 62 based on the annual satisfactory performance appraisal. This would put the clerk on the appropriate level from 2024 and allow for further progressions to the top of the LC4 range, and the clerk will reach that level April 26th, and from that time will be eligible for the cost of living rises. So I will propose that. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second that, Chair.
Show of hands. That is unanimous.
Okay, I shall go and get the clerk back in.
Before we go on.
Is it really true that you don't have to meet the targets to get an increase in pay?
They do need to be that part of the program.
So the public sector only.
There's only like 2 grand in it.
Thank you. That's useful in time.
It stops working. Anyway,
You can tell me the decision later if you don't just move on with the agenda
right.
then.
So now the recommendation is the first one, and it's the option 1. Have we got that wrong?
I'm now confused. So that's what you, that's the decision, that one. Thank you.
This one, that was,
Thank you.
okay. Where I am now.
We've still got other bits, yeah, we've still got other bits on here. We now go to, I think it is job vacancy. Yeah, job vacancy.
And that is for noting. Thank you.
Would you start recording again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we, sorry.
Sorry. Chair, so can I just confirm that this is a third position for the tourism and community office? We've got 2 people already in those posts. This is a third position.
Yeah, this is the the restructure was approved by this committee, gosh,
Some time ago,
15,
yeah.
16 months ago. So when Dawn Spalding left and we restructured that department and Jonathan Ansley left, we put all of that money together to create what would be the new team. So it's not a tourism team, this is community and tourism. And a large part of their work is community work. So they're the ones who are taking forward all of the work around youth, all the work around dementia. They're going to be taking all of that on. They're looking to, certainly they're going to be very instrumental in anything to do with refugees, anything that happens from that. So this is that community, and this has been growing the community area of the work that we do. So this is certainly not beefing up of tourism. This is amalgamating the 2 sides together. No, they're based in the library. Having said that, it is highly probable, because of the way that we're now working, that Alice will be working 1 day a week at East Court.
Who will the person be reporting to?
Alice Fletcher, part of her team. It's a second Roger.
Okay. Item 14 on the agenda.
Do we need to do item 13 before we move on to 14?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
Go back
right,
to your
beg your
agenda.
pardon, sorry. Item 13 is to
Just read it out verbatim, and you are proposing it.
agree to exclude public and press from the next item due to the inclusion of confidential, commercial, sensitive information prejudicial to the public interest, Standing Order 1C. Please give me a moment to pause the recording and ask everyone present to
That's my note to you, Chair.
I'll tell you, it's been a bad day, so, yeah.
You say, so you're proposing,
I'll propose it. Can I have a
and you
second?
second, please, thank you. And
Thank you, is that agreed?
all in favour?
Right, now,
Right, hang on, well, 1 second. So Sasha, I'm going to put you in the waiting room and we'll let you back in once this part has been completed. Wait. Okay, so she's now in the waiting room and hang on. Not recording. I want to pause it. Why can't I pause it? It's up there. It's up there. Oh, actually, our member of the public has actually left the meeting, so so there is no need to bring her back in from the meeting room.
yeah, I've got that now. Okay. So I'll close this meeting at 8:50. And I advise that the next meeting of the committee will be held on the 23rd of June 2022.
Thanks, Dave.
Eh?
Quite